Hello everyone. Welcome to my second video on the Katy Trail route. Um, this is just covering the route into Kansas City, the Katy Trail, the Rock Island Trail. It doesn't go all the way to Kansas City, so I had to pick a route that would uh, allow us to connect to the path, the Riverside bike paths in Kansas City to get us to Union Station. There are extensive paths in Kansas City, but they uh, they don't connect to the Katy Trail. So we're just gonna zoom in here. So in my last video, I said it goes all the way to Lee Summit. It doesn't. It goes to Pleasant Hill. Um, if we zoom in right here, this is basically the end of the Katy Trail heading towards Kansas City. This is a small town called Pleasant Hill. Um, it's not too far from Kansas City, and the route I defined basically just has us jumping off this road. Um, I'm pretty sure that the people of this area are kind of used to bikers rolling through their town. Um, there's even a thing here called the Mopac Trail. I don't have the GPS route exactly defined in there, but it's down there in those trees somewhere. Mopac, yeah, you can see it right there. Mopac stood for Missouri Pacific, so they did a pretty good job of. There was apparently quite a few railroads that ran through Missouri. Katy stood for Kansas, Texas, and maybe Missouri. I'm not sure. Um, Rock Island was just a railroad out of Chicago, and Katy Trail, or and Mopac was Missouri Pacific, which got absorbed by Southern Pacific. But they were all competitors at one time, and they've all been gracious enough to give us nice little bike paths. There's a couple places to camp on our way into Kansas City. The first one is right here. This is a city park and a lakeshore disc golf course. So there's that one. Or we can follow this road up to this nature conservancy. Katy Trail website has this place listed as a place you can go and go to this office and rent yourself a place to pitch a tent. Um, this area all right here is just a bunch of trails that you can ride around on, but it's a nature conservancy according to the internet. Um, but once we're out of the nature conservancy, we could spend the night in either one of those places. They're so close they don't really matter because they're all within 20 miles of Kansas City proper. But once off the out of those areas, we kind of get into some suburban areas, like on this road here. Um, these this little road here looks to be a road where they're adding some bike infrastructure anyway. Um, interesting fact, if you go to Google Earth, it'll show you them building these ball fields. Um, but it would appear they've flown over it with a satellite and mapped it since then. So there's some pretty calm and sedate uh, traffic through this area. And we can basically go to the end of this road and join something called rejoin the Rock Island Trail. The problem with the Rock Island Trail is it goes right downtown to Kansas City, goes to Arrowhead Stadium, but it doesn't go and connect to the Katy Trail. You can see it right there, but the city hasn't been given authority to turn this part that isn't built into a trail. So basically, the Rock Island Trail starts here for our purposes. Um, but it heads on into Kansas City. It'll go all the way to Arrowhead Stadium. I didn't bother to drop a too fine of a route. I just kind of dropped waypoints so that we knew we were still in the right place. Each one of these, and it's really covered by a very thick amount of forest. So it's gonna be hard to get off the trail. You'll know because you'll be on the street if you don't. But it comes up here. This is where we get off the Rock Island Trail and start heading towards the Riverwalk Greenways in downtown Kansas City. We could continue on and go to Arrowhead Stadium if we wanted to, but the shortest path to Union Station is taking this left uh, and riding through these residential areas. Um, Not busy streets, just residential areas. To to the Riverwalk. This is the uh, bridge we're going to cross the interstate on. I pay a lot of attention to bridges because they're the place where we're most likely going to have contact with traffic. Um, but this one is a pretty wide bridge for just being 2 lanes. So uh, looks like we're going to have plenty of options to get across. Um, when we do rejoin a major highway, we're going to be lucky enough to be next to this place, which is one of the famous Kansas City barbecue places. I think I've actually been here at one time in my life. Um, we'll grab onto this street. This isn't the best street, but unfortunately for us, it's a kind of a necessary evil. But it's only for like 4 blocks to get over to this road, cross the cross this river on this very low traffic bridge right here. Um, the reason we don't use this one is because it's a 4 lane high speed uh, uh, city road, a strode. But this one is just a street. It crosses the river. This thing right here, if you follow it up, also connects to Arrowhead Stadium back over in the distance there, but it's not the direct route. But this is where we connect onto this pedestrian bridge along the river downtown, and we can just take this river path. It's all got bicycle lanes along it. All the way down to this, you know, this part of Kansas City that seems to be just dedicated to like museums and parks for most of the way to Union Station. So not really. Uh, it seems like the place to ride a bike around there. They certainly set up a lot of bike paths inside these parks. Lots of pedestrian walkways. Um, we shouldn't have. They've put in a lot of bicycle lanes in this part of the city because it's right downtown, so we shouldn't have a lot of conflict with traffic. The only reason we take this meandering route is because, uh, you know, I kind of want to ride through this park right here, use this underpass, and this is kind of the start of the park that encompasses the World War One museum. And this is the World War One museum right here, and that we can doodle around there. And this is Union Station where we would have parked our cars or whatever. Um, the trail doesn't necessarily end there. Um, uh, the long-term parking is over in this complex for those of us who don't want to carry on. But we could also ride our bikes all the way back to Lucas's house, and it's not that far. It's like 40 miles. It's like really not very far at all. Uh, but it is one of those things that kind of want it is for those people who kind of want to say, "Oh, I rode my bicycle all the way across Missouri into my house." People for people who aren't necessarily interested in heading back to Kansas, this would be the end of your trip. Um, After this is another video, so we'll address that uh, at a future date. But that's kind of where things are for the trip into Kansas City. I haven't looked into any hotels in downtown Kansas City, but they're there. It seems like the most this path I defined really was just defined by my I really was driven by my desire to avoid traffic. Not really to go see all the sites, but they're there. We go by a museum, an art museum, which, I guess those are nice, and all the cool parks in downtown Kansas City. So, but let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.